More on the charges against the 6 Baltimore police officers. Debbie Hines joins us in the studio. She's a trial lawyer, legal analyst, and a former prosecutor in Baltimore. Debbie, thanks for being on our program.
Thank you for having me.
I can't think of a better person to talk to. I'd like to get your reaction first to how quickly State Attorney Marilyn Mosby announced these criminal charges in great detail, with a lot of confidence, laying out what investigators had found out. Were you surprised about how quickly this came about?
I think everyone was surprised at how quickly it came about. However, this is not a surprise to the people that are arrested in West Baltimore and in other parts of the city, because when murder occurs or a killing occurs, it happens a little quicker than this. It's only because it was the police officers that everyone is surprised. So
when you listened to Mosby, was there anything in what she had to say that made you think? Was there anything that surprised you or stunned you about the case she laid out in great detail, play by play?
Yes. That is what surprised me. I mean, the fact that I think everyone, myself included, was thinking that, oh, she's going to wait till she gets the police investigation, which is normally how it works at the state's attorney's office. You get the police investigation, and then you decide based on those witness interviews to move forward. But she had done her own independent investigation, and so she was ready to move. And so it wasn't that it was lightning speed. It's just that while everything else has been moving slowly since his death, she was already dotting all her I's and crossing all her T's and doing her own investigation.
And Debbie, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal expert, so forgive me if this question sounds a little dumb. So does this mean this case no longer goes to the grand jury?
Correct.
Because Mosby made the decision that there's enough evidence to charge these officers.
Well, it's not just Mosby made the decision. There are two ways to charge, not just in Baltimore but other places. One is by way of an indictment, which goes before the grand jury, and one is by way of what's known as a criminal information. And that's the process that she went through, where you just go through the evidence and you bring the charges before a judge and the criminal information. So it's not that she just brought them herself.
Correct. Okay. Understood. So what is next for these officers? They're apparently behind bar. As far as I know, they have not posted bail. What is the next legal step for them?
Okay, so the next legal step for them is the legal steps that are for anyone that's arrested and charged. They will probably have a bail hearing, which they're required to have within 24 hours. If their bail is too high, they can have another bail hearing, or what's called a bail review, and a date will be set for them at that time for them to appear in arraignment court, for them to either plead guilty or not guilty, and have a trial date set.
So this case will for sure go to trial?
No, nothing is for sure ever in the criminal justice system, but a trial date will be set because they're obviously innocent until proven guilty, and so they have the right to a trial.
Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake later talked to reporters. She said she was sickened and heartbroken about the charges. She said no one is above the law. From someone who's familiar with the area in Baltimore, you know the area well, do you think she has handled this case well?
Not exactly entirely sure that she's handled it well. I mean, number one, she first came out with a curfew of about a week. And I think that the curfew should have been on a day-to-day basis to see how things are going, obviously because of the economic factor. And then the other thing that she said is, oh, she wants to make it very transparent. And obviously, as we can see from the prosecutor was doing her own thing behind the scenes. And you can't jeopardize cases by just giving out all the information. I mean, that's also not a good thing. And I think that, you know, what she should have done is also, which this mayor has not done enough of, is go directly to the community, just like Congressman Elijah Cummings has, who lives in the community. Go to the community, speak with the residents, don't just give press conferences.
And Debbie, one of the officers is charged with second-degree murder. How significant is that, and how hard or difficult will it be to prove the case against him?
I think that's going to be a hard hill to climb. And second degree in a case like this, where there's, from what it's been said, there's no intentional hitting, and that's not how he's charged under second degree. He's charged under second degree statute that has a depraved heart, which I know are strange words for everyone. But what it is showing is that he did an act that he was consciously aware of that was in so much total reckless disregard for someone's life and placing them in endangerment, and he knew that, and a homicide occurred. That's going to be a really hard case to prove based on the facts that you've said, but I think that the manslaughter charges are quite provable.
Wow. Debbie Hines, Thank you so much for your
Thank
perspective,
you.
for your time.
Thank
Very
you.
interesting.